What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. I'm doing great myself, thanks. As you watch some Tekken World Tour finals in the background here, I'm gonna talk yet again about Leroy. I posted a video 2 days ago saying that the character, in my opinion, is overpowered. I would say he's like a boss character. Steals moves from many characters, does them better. As a complete package, just looking at individual moves, he's in a league of his own, in my opinion. The character is objectively broken. Just looking at the hitboxes and the frame data, hitboxes and those frames, they don't lie. You know, just objectively, the character is insane. But what I wonder is, when are they going to nerf him? I mean, I was the devil, you know, I played Leroy, 3 sessions, got Tekken, got Prime, felt kind of bad doing it because, oh god, my poor opponents. And then, of course, I was given the Leroy treatment, and it certainly was not fun. I visited a friend who plays Tekken casually. Well, I mean, he's an intermediate player. He's been going at it for a while. But I smurfed on his account playing Geese, you know, at like Vanquisher rank, and running into Leroy's. They were everywhere. I think 5 out of 7 matches I played were versus Leroy players and different Leroys. And just trying to get in on him when he's just doing orbitals, like even if you have incredible timing, it's still hard because it recovers so quickly. Yeah, it's like, I think there's a good chance having Leroy's everywhere and maybe knowing for a fact that he's one step above everyone else and super easy to play and has basically no weaknesses from what I can tell, that's gonna hurt the motivation of a lot of players playing Tekken right now in ranked, on Steam or on PS4. I mean, it certainly hurt my friend's motivation. He was like, okay, Leroy's everywhere, fuck this shit, turn it off. He's not touching the game. I think he's waiting for Leroy nerfs. So we have a problem here. I can't even remember last time a character was this strong. There's no... people have said that, oh, it's practiced by Bandai Namco to release DLC characters overpowered because that sells copies of a DLC. And it's like, we've never had a Leroy before. If you want to talk like very hype characters, you know, like Negan, he was bad on release. Low tier, work in progress, unfinished, not a complete character, not a good example. You're not going to call Armor King overpowered, are you? Or Lei or Anna? Not good at all. Marduk is strong, but he got a damage nerf, but he's not an overpowered character. Like really, Leroy is unique, and I think it's because the reception to Leroy was so great at Evo that maybe they were thinking, we can't disappoint all of these Leroy fans on release, so maybe have him super strong. But again, it's like, okay having a few moves that are super strong, but as a package, he's just... What were they thinking is what I'm wondering. So when will he be nerfed? Because you have Evo Japan coming up at the end of January. I think it starts January 24th. It's like a month plus a week away. There's not too long, you know, before you have a major tournament. So if Leroy isn't fixed by then, how many Leroys are you going to see at Evo Japan? Because I'm pretty certain most players agree that he's way too strong. But another question outside of like, when is he going to get nerfed, is how do you even nerf this character? Because without fundamentally changing his character gameplay design. Because he's designed to be super easy, which I thought was to the design's detriment. You know, you love his visuals, how he looks, his Wing Chun. I thought he was going to have a very defensive, parry-heavy technical playstyle. You know, or at least that he would have, you know, very identifiable strengths and weaknesses. You know, he's He's specializing in an area of the system. But turns out Leroy can do everything and has no execution. And that is, in my opinion, the dullest Tekken character. There's as much as I love his visuals, he's so boring to play right now because you're playing an overpowered character that is super easy to use and that can do anything. I mean, it's not like you feel a tremendous sense of accomplishment whenever you win with Leroy. I mean, rather, it's almost like you should probably feel a bit bad if you lose, if you've spent some time with the character. So he's going to get nerfed, but how do you even nerf Leroy? Because looking at his move list, you certainly find moves that are independently, individually, oh god, this move is too much. His orbital, down 1+2, his pimp sweep, There's so many moves where you go like, Jesus, this move is S tier. It's like this move, if you put it on a different character, would be in their top 2 moves. It is so good. But the problem is, it's like Leroy, that list of top 2 moves is never ending in his move list. You'll just find like golden grapes everywhere in that move list. And also, as I said before, like he can do anything. His mids are great, his lows are great, his poking is great, the 50-50 is great, the space control is great, the punishment is great, the combos are no execution, and from his orbital, if you end with the easy down to delay 4, 77 damage from the orbital, without rage, without counter hit, without execution. Do you know how much damage that is? Did you know that Kazuya's almost combo video, difficulty combo, that you'll only see like the very, very top Kazuya experts do? It's triple electric and can't miss any of those electrics. Season 3, damage reduction on Wind Godfist. So triple electric, back 2-1, dash in, back 3-1, and then forward 4-2. That is 76 damage, if you can land it. I dare say 99.9% of Kazuya players might be able to do that in practice mode, but never in a match. So it's like he scores 1 more damage with his easy mode staple, and his wall damage is insane. So it's like you can really break this character. Oh, and he has a spare rage drive in the Pimp Cane. So it's like there's so much to this character that is crazy. It's not just the fact that you have a few moves that are crazy, like the orbital and down 1+2. So it's like, how do you nerf Leroy? Even if you worsen the frames on some of these killer attacks, it will not change the fact that he has all of those moves. He can do all of those things without execution. Even if you worsen the frames on a lot of these attacks, doesn't change the fact that he has all of those attacks. That fact alone just makes him so strong. And we didn't even mention the parry. Just mash back 2 and you can get out of any form of pressure. String pressure from Geese, Hwoarang Steve. Mash it in the middle of strings. Just an unbelievable parry. So this honestly has me a little bit worried in conclusion to this video here. Everything I've talked about, how Leroy was so hype and cool, and then turns out he's not a specialist character. He does everything. He's kind of bland. Love the animations, but he can do everything. He's super strong, super high combo damage. He's doing 50-50s and orbitals. I thought he was going to be very grounded, and rely on parries. His feet don't leave the ground too much. So it is kind of disappointing, honestly, Leroy's gameplay. But maybe they can fix it, and it certainly starts with hacking away at those crazy frames. But yet again, it's almost like, I tweeted about this, it's almost like you have to remove entire moves. Not only, cripple the frames on attacks, but it almost feels like certain attacks have to be removed. you know, because the character just has everything. And I'm not certain that works, you know, in a balancing perspective. I don't want to keep you guys for too long on this video, but honestly, just looking at his lows, yet again, you know, he has the pimp sweep for the 50-50. It's a long range, faster homing hell sweep. He has sidestep 4, which is one of those killer Tekken 7 lows, you know, +4 on hit, -12 on block. Oh, what's that? I got a counter hit? Blam, +12, 49 damage with 2-2. And that sidestep 4 has very long range. And down 2-4 delay. I've showed that in my video, crazy. Down back 4, the crushing slide-ish counter hit into massive damage. Down 3-2, you know, like Hwoarang's, but better in many ways. You know, Hwoarang's down 3-4. And do you want to know something else that's interesting about his lows that I didn't mention in my previous video? All of the lows I just mentioned, so these are all of his key lows, and there are like, what, 5-6 of them. Every single one of them hits grounded. Sidestep 4, down 2, pimp sweep, down back 4. Even his Hwoarang, down 3-2. They all, without exception, they all hit grounded. His orbital hits grounded in certain angles. I mean, it's seriously just... You're lucky with a character to have a certain few lows that hit grounded, and every single one of his lows hit grounded, as if they weren't just unbelievably dumb, you know, without that property. So yeah, I'm just expecting we get a nerf very soon. And question 2 is how do you even go about this? You're probably going to see his name 50 times in the change log, the next patch log. It's everywhere. But can you only tone down frames? You have to tone down damage, that's for sure. You have to nerf frames, but you have to even remove moves or just completely change properties on moves. We're going to have to reduce range on a lot, tracking, remove counter hit properties. His down 3-2, should that be a natural combo like Hwoarang's? You know, this is gonna be a challenge, I think. But I think it's without question that something has to be done, and very quickly, because I don't want to watch an EVO Japan with Leroy 1.0. That is not going to be fun. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope you all have a nice day. Take care.